I fell in love with my sister-in-law and unintentionally made her divorce her husband. I've been madly in love with my sister-in-law for 5 years now, and although I've always hidden it from her, I think she always knew. One night while she and I were cleaning up after a party, she professed her love for me and told me to stop pretending. I don't love her too. As soon as she said that, my brain short-circuited as I tried processing this. Eventually, I told her she was just drunk and needed to go to bed because I wasn't about to physically cheat on my wife. However, I cried for weeks afterward, and when my wife saw that I was sad, she was very concerned and was so nice to me, and it made me cry even more. The guilt was so physically painful, I developed ulcers. This happened last summer, and ever since I've tried to avoid seeing my sister-in-law and her husband. Soon, my wife was irritated with me because of this, accusing me of not liking her sister or her husband. My sister-in-law called a few times to wonder why I'm not showing up and visiting them as frequently. Now, she has started saying that I wanted to come between her and her brother because I never liked their closeness. So what I did to combat this is go to the dinners and ignore my brother-in-law altogether. Well, this didn't satisfy my sister-in-law, and so she started thinking I hate them. This was truly eating me alive, and I spent many nights silently crying and looking at myself in the mirror like a monster. But then, luck struck me, and my wife got a new job offer in a city that's 20 hours away.
I want her to take it, but it's in a very small town and she is surprised that I, a renowned city guy, want to move to a small town.
I don't know what to do. I want my wife to take this job, but I don't know how to convince her. My sister-in-law texted me begging not to do it and promised not to bother me again, but just not to move away. That doesn't sit well with me. Update. I had a talk again with my wife about the job in the little town. I told her that I wanted the new adventure, especially when it came with a 25% increase in her salary and a higher up position. My wife has been complaining about how she isn't advancing in her career in our city. I told her that this could be the step she needed. I'm a nurse, and I could easily find jobs anywhere we went because we have a shortage in healthcare staff everywhere. The idea started to grow on her. She was skeptical because of the distance to our families, but she was intrigued. She booked a job interview that is supposed to happen on Wednesday. If she took the job, we would be relocating around New Year. I was so hopeful that I could finally breathe. Today is Sunday, and it was, per usual, the day we meet up with family for dinner. This didn't happen this week, however, and I'm spending the Sunday alone. My wife is staying with sister-in-law because earlier this week, my brother-in-law broke the news to her that he wanted a divorce. Sister-in-law is beside herself with shock, and my wife is there to try and mediate between her and her husband. My brother-in-law is refusing to talk to any of them and has only been there twice to see the kids. My wife told me now that she couldn't take the job because she needed to stay here and support her sister. I understand where she is coming from, but for me, all the horror and anxiety is back. I can't tell my wife my true reasons. I have tried so many times, but I just can't do it. I love her so much and I know her very well. She will be hurt and devastated. Update 2. When my wife told me she was not taking the job up north because of sister-in-law's marital problems, I understood that and was supportive. We have always been close to my sister-in-law and my wife loves her sister and her children. I always admired their bond because I was never this close to my family. She stopped spending weekends with me and instead stayed with sister-in-law and the children, and even several days a week when she doesn't even text me after work that she was spending the evening with the children. I didn't mind it because this is all new, and sister-in-law isn't coping well after the separation. I told my wife that I missed her though, and that I wanted to be with her, and maybe I should tag along some days. She said that I was being selfish for wanting the attention now. Her sister needed the support, I should be more understanding. She and my brother-in-law have been together since they were very young and she wasn't adjusting well with these new changes. I felt horrible and so selfish. I thought that I should be supportive. Every Christmas on Boxing Day, my wife and I travel somewhere warm and spend 2 to 3 weeks. It has been our tradition since we met. We booked this trip months early, in April. Yesterday, when I was talking about our trip, my wife was so surprised. She said that she was actually astonished that I thought that we would just go on with our plans when sister-in-law's life is turned upside down. I told her that this was our thing and that her sister has her own family. I wanted my family, her. I told her that I fully understood that she needs her support, but that I've been very lonely lately. She told me to drop the subject. Today, I chatted with the travel agency to see if I could add my sister-in-law and her children. I thought that maybe it would be a good change of climate. Well, they would have to take a separate flight, but other than that, it was possible even with such short notice to add them. So I called my wife to tell her the news. She was very excited. When she came home later, she told me that her sister didn't agree, however, so we are staying. I asked her why and she said that her sister didn't want to be around happy couples right now. I did all I could do to hold back my tears. When my wife got the job offer in the small town up north, I started browsing job opportunities and I sent my CV around. One hospital answered me a week ago. I think I want to take the job. After what happened today, I just logged in and made an appointment for a job interview. I know that my sister-in-law is hurting and that my wife is admirable for being there for her. This is all just so new for everyone and a big life change for sister-in-law and her children, but I feel like I'm number 2 in my own life. I feel neglected and like I have the supporting role in my own movie. I'm leaving my wife, I'm taking the new job, and I will go with the plans and move to that small town and get away from everything and everyone. I think I need this new start. Judge me all you want. I know you will. Update 3. I did a lot of thinking about this entire thing. I tried speaking to my wife once about it. I brought it up over the last little while a few times in passing, but tried to have a very serious discussion just once. It was late at night and I told her to please listen to me and not interrupt. In fairness, she did that. And so I opened up to her about how her doing all of this for her sister and dancing around her so much until she literally does not care that she is neglecting me is making me feel that I honestly feel very much behind her on her priority list and that I should never have to feel like that as a husband. I still didn't tell her about the sister-in-law situation, however, as I'm actually pleased to report that I have lost a lot of the feelings that I had for her. I guess I indirectly blamed her for taking my wife away by leaving her husband, but whatever it was, my feelings have significantly decreased. Anyway, after explaining how I felt to my wife, she gave me a hug. I thought I was getting somewhere, but then she let go and she told me that she understands, but her sister is her sister, and I have to accept that she will be there for her as much as she needs it no matter how it makes me feel. That made me feel like crap.